Now, if you are a fan of EastEnders, you will know that Phil Mitchell is battling cirrhosis and he's looking like his son Ben may be able to help him by donating part of his liver.
Now, there were 36 liver transplants from live donors in the UK last year, and Naresh was among the lucky few.
I was born with mild haemophilia. That's a problem with clotting, which leads to increased bleeding. And in 1982, had some blood products while at medical school, and unknown to me, contracted hepatitis C from contaminated blood.
It was a very long time until my dad actually became aware that he was infected. Hepatitis C is a virus that attacks the liver. It causes scarring, and this scarring, which is also known as cirrhosis, can lead to cancer.
When I found out, I was working as a GP in Southend. I had a family, my wife, 3 children. I was starting to get quite depressed about what was happening.
As my dad started to become more and more ill, it was very obvious it was having an effect on his general well-being and mental state.
I ended up retiring medically and soon afterwards divorced. As time went on, I really did start missing my family, and I tried to make contact with my children, and luckily they responded. My eldest son, Jared, in particular.
I think it was October 2014, my dad told me that he had cancer, and he was basically going through various tests so the doctors could see whether or not they could actually just remove the tumour.
But during this time, the liver cancer had progressed to the point where, and now that the only curative procedure would actually be a liver transplant.
When my dad was put on the donor list, we were very aware that the cancer was quite aggressive. It might be the case that he didn't receive a donation in time. Straight away, I just put myself forward and said, I would like to donate my liver to my dad. After some tests, they found out that I would need to donate 66% of my liver, and that meant I was in the high-risk category.
He can have too little liver left in him for his own survival. At that point, unbeknown to me, my youngest son, Naresh, had had a private blood test. He also would be suitable as a living donor.
We didn't expect me to be able to go ahead with it. I'm much slighter than my brother. You wouldn't think that I would have a sufficient liver if my brother wasn't able to.
They felt that Naresh was actually more suitable. He only needed 54% of his liver to be taken.
And so the risks to him were lower, and as much as I didn't like hearing that, it was the right thing to do.
Stark reality started facing me, as you know, this was going to be the only option for cure, and to see both my sons wanting to risk their life for me, it was a big thing, and it was hard to accept that.
It's very hard to explain how proud I am of my brother.
We had the opportunity, thankfully, that we could go through and that we could help someone we loved.
The bravery he had to show to go forward with the transplant, it was huge.
After the operation, I was left with around 45% of my liver. After a week, my liver had actually regenerated to 75%, which is truly remarkable. After 3 months, my liver was actually up to 100%. It was functioning perfectly normally.
I have a new life, a new way of thinking about life, and I am extremely grateful to both my sons. The type of relationship we have is much closer than we had before. I feel glad to be alive. I feel that there's a purpose to me that I didn't have before.
God, the bond is so close between father and son anyway, isn't it? But
gosh.
What a lovely story.
Amazing.
When you just think of some of the decisions that families have to make,
I know,
I mean, it just
and
puts
that
it into
12
context, doesn't it?
hours in the operating theatre must have been